Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Poonam Nikam, working as a dean from past 10 years with Indus Business School. With my versatile experience for the corporate background and the educational sector adds a lot of values for integration management into the technology. So currently, if you focus on the IIEBM, we have an integrated programs where the focus is on management plus the technologies. If we look at the Army discipline, there are very key characteristics, I will say. One is integrity, commitment, values, ethics, loyalty, ready to work under any pressure. As you all are working in the corporate sector and you are also aware about it, what corporate is expecting. You need to have an work ethics. You should have that leadership quality. You should be able to work under pressure. You should be able to work with the deadlines and the timelines. If you are getting all the training in your 2 years of journey at IIEBM, so discipline is not only that you need to be a well-groomed, you need to follow maintain the attendance, you need to be into specific dress code, or you need to follow the code of conduct of the organization, but these characteristics matters a lot. So inculcating that value system in the students while you're giving them a management education, that's making them a human being, not only with a degree, but those who are having a high value system and those who understand what is the corporate ethics.
Hi, I'm Suraj Pathak. I have been working as an HR manager operations at NICE. It is an IT product-based company in Pune. I come with an overall 17 years of experience in the industry, of which 16 years is into HR. Students are accustomed to getting instructions in their MBA. That doesn't happen in the corporate world. The feedback that they receive most of the time in many companies could be ambiguous. So they are not ready to deal with ambiguity of the situation. Students also are not probably ready to deal with real life problems immediately. Because as I said, in the college, their success is measured on the basis of grades. But in industry, it is more on feedback. So that is what they're not ready for. And I think that is what shocks them the most. Classroom learning falls short mostly in teaching students the practical application of the theory that has been taught. Now, I'll give you an example of HR. Many students, they know what the labor laws are, but many of them may still don't know how to read a payslip, or many of them do not know how to understand a CV. So these are some practical points that probably students are not able to tackle, and that is where I feel classroom learning falls short of. In the organizations today, companies are looking for someone who understands business plus the systems that support these businesses. So having a knowledge of the systems as well as the business workflows, I think, is very helpful. That helps the organizations to ensure that they are not spending too much of time in training the students on these aspects. So somebody who comes with this knowledge, I think it is very helpful for the organization, because then they have to invest less into training.
Practical exposure is more important, right? This theory lectures, whatever happening in the classes, they can cover it. They may have to sit for an extra hours and they can work on it. But what exposure they will get through the live projects, that definitely will not get into the classrooms, right? So they need to get engaged with 10 to 15 days of live projects every semester. Along with that, they have mandatorily CSR activity they need to do. So there is a credit course which is based on the CSR, right? Which they need to complete in semester 1 and semester 2, where they need to associate themselves with either NGOs or any corporate and need to work closely on the sustainability and the ESG project. And they have to define a prototype by the end of the semester 2, which can be commercialized and funded by college in the semester 3. So college supports them through the incubation for becoming an entrepreneur, for the products which are useful for the society. The focus is not on any other aspects, but mainly on the sustainability and ESG, which is need of an hour. So they get trained on entrepreneurship development, on the entrepreneurship labs. They get trained on the sustainability and the ESG, how they can commercialize that concepts and can build certain products which will be useful for the society. So they have to do all that projects. And along with that, we have a tie-ups with different organizations like Harvard, IBM, CRISIL, NISM, SAP. So through them, every semester we have defined certain credits and then certifications. So the corporates come for the training. Again, these certifications are just not for the tick mark activity, but the corporates are involved from the industry who trained them on that specific subjects. And then they have to complete the certification. So if you talk about IIEBM students, their days are full with a lot of activities, a lot of academics. So they don't get time just okay, we'll have a fun. So we always say, if you really serious about your career and you want that transformation from the ordinary to something different, right? Then definitely you should be ready for this rigorous training what we are planning at IIEBM.
Industry immersions are a great platform for students to get practical exposure in the industry, wherein they can get real life problems to solve. They get a lot of leadership exposure. They can speak and interact with a lot of leaders, understand their day-to-day work, understand the entire business of how business works. It is slightly just different from industrial visits, because industrial visits is like watching a movie. Industry immersion is like being a part of the cast. So casual industrial visit is of observatory nature. It could be limited to just 1 or 2 days, wherein you just go and observe things. You will have very less of interaction. Whatever learning happens is through observational learning, whereas industry immersion is where you actually work into it. Most of the companies give live data by masking confidential information, unless you are into an organization where confidentiality is of prime most important, like what happens in investment banks. Then in that case, you would be given simulated cases, but that happens rarely because simulations require a lot of preparations and companies may not have that kind of time to have that kind of a structure. So most of the time, students do work on live cases with confidential data masked.
So we have combined the technologies into the management education. When I'm talking about the technology, so we have introduced SAP. And SAP is just not as an certification course, which is of for 40-50 hours the people do. We have a long 500 hours of training that is again from the SAP professionals, those who comes from the industries like Deloitte, Accenture, Cognizant, and they train our students. So that adds a different value to the student. They get introduced on the different models of SAP. They understand the integration of SAP. So which gives an opportunity for them to work as an analyst, the consultant, right? And obviously it will be in the IT sector. So the career growth will be very high. They don't need to be on a field, right? Along with that, the other technology like Oracle, Salesforce, that also are the part of our curriculum. In addition to that, each and every student of IIEBM are taught analytics. So whether it is marketing analytics, financial analytics, business analytics, HR analytics, so they get trained on that. Along with that, every student knows Python. So all the technology helps them to be ready for whatever the market changes are happening in the industry, right? So if you will see nowadays, corporates don't expect that the person should be only the core MBA grad, but if he or she is having a technological blend, right? As the AI is coming everywhere, right? So with the AI, every profession will have some technological aspects, right?
A techno-functional manager could be someone who understands, as I said, business processes and the systems that support. So the technology part of it. Let's say a translator who knows multiple languages. So somebody who can transform business requirements into technical requirements and then plug that into the system and configure it into the system is something that a techno-functional manager does. It mostly depends on the role that they're applying for, but generally for freshers, recruiters will not look for in-depth knowledge of SAP. What they look for mostly is awareness of SAP, awareness of systems, workflows. That's what they look for. But if it's a very specific SAP-driven role, then they may ask deeper questions into modules, into the technical aspects of SAP. So yes, I would hire a techno-functional fresher over a strategy fresher because the roles for techno-functional fresher in the industry are more. We have very less demand for someone who would be looking out for a strategy fresher. In the industry where consulting firms, there are startups who may require strategy freshers, but then they have a very strong training environment wherein these students are mostly put through operational jobs, they are put through analysis, that kind of training. But a techno-functional fresher will be someone who can execute things. And that's what, most of the roles in the industry are around such a profile wherein we would need a techno-functional fresher. Strategy generally comes with a lot of experience. And for that, you need to understand business context, which will only come once you have spent good enough time in the industry. So there are some companies who hire them, as I said, consulting firms or startups. But then initially, they will be put through a lot of training. IIEBM students, I feel, are corporate ready. The kind of grooming that happens in the institute and the kind of focus is given on not just education but other behavioral aspects helps student, perform better in the organization for a simple reason, because they have seen such scenarios in the institute itself. So there's a lot of observational learning that happens in the institute. There's a lot of practical learning that happens in the institute. So that gives them an edge over other students. Recruiters generally say that the students are corporate ready. As I said, they have to invest less time in training them. And that is what also makes them plug and play ready. Recruiters also say that they see a certain amount of discipline, diligence amongst the student, even the conduct, the way they carry themselves. So all that stands out for them.
Take a simple example. If I have to plan a simple event at my home, I need to have a detailed understanding, the execution flow, right? How it has to be executed. So here, when we say the student need to be a self-discipline, he needs to plan his day. He need to understand how to achieve certain targets or complete the projects or the deadlines in a defined time management, right? So the structured with this, the army discipline and with the core values, what we are teaching students here, that helps them to be accountable. That helps them for a time management. That helps them to be productive. They understand what is in hierarchy, what should be the reporting structure, right? And because of that, anyone can be dependent on them, as they have their own accountability, they have their ownership. They understand that if the task is allotted to me, rather than be a reactive, I have to be a proactive. So when these characteristics are followed or imbibed and they have learned over a period, the performance of our students, if I talk about during their internship or when it comes to the placement, that resulting into the way that the corporates who are my major key recruiters or the regulars, they prefer to have students from IIEBM. It's not only during their campus recruitment process, but as and when any requirements are there, they ask, do you have any good students available, right? So it's not that they follow the cycle, okay, one cycle we completed, now we'll come for the next cycle. But as and when any vacancies are there, they approach to IIEBM. So that characteristics of the students, or what I can say, that behavior of our students, that has been built because as we are having a structured approach in our the complete discipline, right? Whether it comes to the training, whether it comes to the attendance, whether it comes to their grooming. So everywhere, the planning execution matters a lot. So when it comes to the specific behavior, if you will look at my core value, my core value is aspire. A stands for attitude. If you have a right attitude, it's easy to achieve anything. Then S stands for self-discipline. To achieve anything or for any success, if you have a self-discipline, automatically you are ready to follow what is expected and what management or the corporate are expecting for you. So that self-discipline is very, very important. The next is perseverance. For any achievement or for any success, you need to be a consistent. If you are hardworking, consistent, and you have a clarity what you really want to achieve through your course, then definitely you'll be able to do. The next is I. So it is expected you need to carry an intelligence and a knowledge with you while you will be studying with the IIEBM, right? Or anywhere, wherever. It's general, it's for everyone actually. Next is your resilience. It's not giving up an attitude. You should be always ready. Okay, if I'm not succeed today, I will succeed tomorrow. It's very important to be a consistent with the efforts rather than getting with the failure, getting upset. It is important, okay, I learned something and go ahead. That's one. And the most important is E, that is ethics. As I said, loyalty, integrity, values and ethics. It's most important part if you want to succeed in your life. So accountability, ownership, all these things come automatically if you have these 5 core values.
An MBA isn't a degree anymore. It is a transformation from a student to soldier to a strategist. In 2026, if you are planning to do an MBA and want an education that goes beyond classroom learning, then IIEBM Indus Business School bridges that gap early for you. Structured, practical, and industry aligned.